Koei Tecmo Games. Welcome to the historical simulation series of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. If you're unfamiliar with Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it was a... Oops, dropped a quarter. It was a book written in ancient China about the Second Warring States period, but it was with a lot of embellishment. It's become kind of a huge cultural thing of the East. Koei Tecmo, if you're familiar, is the people that also did the Warrior games, specifically Dynasty Warriors, which is the same story. So you'll see a lot of similarities with the look of the characters and the story is the same. So getting on with it, there's Guan Yu, and he's doing his thing. Wish I knew what the Chinese characters meant. There's Diao Chan, she's a super important lady. Unfortunately, ladies don't get very much appreciation in ancient China. They have to do something pretty significant like she did. We'll probably get into what she did later. There's Zhuge Liang, super mastermind guy, bit of a wizard. And we have Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13, Fame Strategy Expansion Pack Bundle. Yes, we are doing the Puck that recently came out for English. And this particular video is going to be a call to arms. This game, your biggest resource, it's a strategy game, and your biggest resource is your heroes, as they do everything for you. And depending on their stats is how well they can do those things, whether it's fighting, whether it's improving your cities, hiring other people, stealing other people's officers, and other such things. However, it also adds a system to make your own officers, so you can create your own dudes. And you can have quite a few dudes. I think it's like 120 that you can have. It's kind of ridiculous. So I'm gonna ask you to join me in this Let's Play by making your own officer who will show up in the Let's Play as sort of your own avatar, running around ancient China. For there's chaos and we need heroes. It's the age of heroes. So I will, this video I'm going to go over how to make your character, and I ask that you submit either through DM, through Discord, or preferably just put it in the comments section. I will probably have a template in the description to help give you a little bit more ease of creating the thing. So we're going to start off with the face, and with this we're going to use only the new officer. Specials for the actual characters. There's you could, I guess, be like some of the messengers and barbarians and kids and stuff, but probably not going to let you. We're going to just stick with the new officer. You can actually make like your own portrait, but it seemed a little complicated and I don't want to do that. So we're going to start. You may notice that there's already one or two characters made. So I want you to choose your portrait. I want you to choose like 2 or 3 portraits just in case like yours gets stolen out from underneath you. We're going to do this Excel style. So we're going to have columns A, B, C, D, and E. and then we're going to just go number the rows. So we got row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, row 8, row 9, row 10, row 11, row 12, row 13, row 14, row 15, row 16, row 17, row 18, and now we're in the lady portraits. Row 19, row 20, row 21, row 22, row 23, row 24, row 25, row 26, row 27, 28, 29, and 30. Ooh, shoot, I should have probably gone through all the portraits so you could see them. So there you got that. Some musicians and poets, it looks like. We got a barbarian lady. Got a archer. Some warrior, another sophisticated lady. Got a young girl. Got some warriors. Got another barbarian lady. You can see there's kind of a spread between like warriors and poets and stuff. Even amongst the ladies. Dancer. Archer. This looks like she's supposed to be like some kind of noble. Ooh, we got like a sort of spy master lady. Ambassador. We have Lady Shihadun, another barbarian. I probably should have done this from the top, so you could now rather the ladies, so you could go with the rows. But I guess you can just rewind the video. Haha. That is some mustache right there. I got some more peasant type characters. Got a warrior there. A lot of like kind of civil officer people. And yeah, you don't have to be a warrior. You can be a civil guy, just building up cities and stuff. Or gal, I guess. Got fat dude, Smog. That's the character I'm gonna go with. Sorry, can't have him. There's a like evil wizard guy. So yep, we're just gonna go through all these portraits. I know I'm not spending a whole lot of time leaving you to look at them, but you'll probably just have to like pause the video if you really want it. Another like sort of derpy face there. So yep, now we're in kind of like the warriors. We got Mr. Assassin here. Mr. Super Beard guy. We have wannabe Shihadun. Is that he just got his other eye removed. Moving forth, some lots of warriors. I think that one's part of the expansion. And then of course Luke took this one, so haha, you can't have it. So that's the faces. As I said, choose your like top 3 just in case they get taken. I don't know exactly what order I'm gonna do. Probably like in order of submission, and a few people will have priority based on their status, such as Falk and Irish coffee. Now we go to name. You get your last name and your first name. Your last name will appear first. Just letting you know, it's last name, but it will be in the front because that's just how ancient China did stuff. Well, China does stuff. And on top of it, you only get 3 characters. Or 6 characters. For both your last name and your first name. So, I know that's not a lot to work with, but they didn't really bother changing it from the Japanese, where characters mean a lot more. Person with more than 6 characters probably has a very long name. Next is character. So here's where you get to choose your gender. Yay! Sorry, you only get these 2. Then you get to choose your voice. I'm gonna go through them, click them like 3 times so you get an idea of what it sounds like. So we're gonna start with male.
是，遵命，遵命，是，
Bold man.
交给我吧。好的，遵命。
Violent man.
知道了，我会加油的。遵命。交给我吧。
Brutish man.
我明白了，遵命。交给我吧，我明白了，我一直在等那句话呢。
Normal man.
我知道了，我明白了，遵命。
Polite man.
请交给我吧，我知道了，遵命。
Tactical.
遵命。好的，我明白了。
Talented.
听凭您的吩咐，我明白了，遵命。
Cunning.
我明白了，是，遵命。
And now we start getting into the voices of some of the actual like officers. You can choose these if you want.
遵命，立即着手吧，为了天下万民，战斗。
好的，开始，相信我，关云长吧。好，好，俺去杀他们片甲不留。
Jiang Fei is a very rash warrior guy.
很简单，立即着手，交给我曹孟德吧。交给我吧，好吧，交给我孙伯符吧。遵命。好吧，我孙仲谋必将完成大任。我知道了，开始吧，让你见识一下我的军事谋略吧。交给我吧，好吧，让你看看我天下无双的武艺吧。
As you can see, they get a little bit more to what they say. I do have it all in Chinese. I could set it to either having Chinese voices or Japanese voices. No English, just those. So I chose Chinese since it's originally a Chinese book.
以我的长枪起誓，好吧，我赵子龙定会带来捷报。交给我吧，立即着手吧，交给我周公瑾吧。是。
And now we're back to young man. So now we're gonna do the female.
请交给我吧，遵命。明白了。
Normal woman.
请交给我吧，遵命。我知道了。
Wise woman.
请交给我吧，遵命。是。
Daring.
请交给我吧，我明白了，交给我吧。
Seductress.
请交给我吧。
And we're back to normal, because unfortunately they don't get any like special voices. I would think at least Yao Chan would get a special voice, but nope. Nope. Unfortunately. So then you have your class. You can either be a military official or a civil official. As you can see, civil officials can't duel, which is a little mini game. It might be useful for you to not duel. It also affects how your character looks in the game. Like when you do like the dual mini games and a few other things, you'll actually have like a character model. Civil officials kind of have just like a robe and a hat, while the military officials have like full-on armor. So if that is important to you, you can choose your class that way. Otherwise, if you have high war, go for military. If you have like no war, go for civil. Then you get to choose your weapon. I am not sure what this affects. A lot of these is sort of like your character's personality, and that influences how well they respond to other officers. So like if they have the same things, they'll like each other better. It'll be easier for them to become friends, because that's a thing you can do. You can become friends with people, and it helps you. So you have your weapons. You got your sword, blade, which is I think more like scimitar kind of thing, rather than like a short sword, long sword. Axe, serpent blade, which is Zhang Fei's weapon. So it has that kind of like weird. It's sort of like a spear, but it has a weird, longer blade at the end. Your spear, your long spear, which is more for like jousting. Your blue dragon blade, which is what Guan Yu uses. It's kind of like a halberd type weapon. Then you have the actual halberd. You have the crescent blade, which again is like Guan Yu's. Just Guan Yu's is a heavier version. The bow, fan. Yes, there is battle fans, but that was more for like Japan, I think, and they use those as like clubs. The sword. Now we're back to sword again. So then you have your personality, whether you're timid, calm, bold, reckless. That's a major thing, and then you have your what you like and what you don't like. So duty is like your how much you like the fact that you or people around you are loyal to their lord and the like Han dynasty. So if you absolutely don't care about being a loyal vassal, ignore. If you really care about yourself and other people being a loyal vassal, you want to revere. Basically, that would be like, you will never, ever surrender. You'd rather be executed than go over to the enemy's side if you get captured. Well, this is where ignore is like, you don't care. If you get, you'll just try to survive. And then there's a couple levels of it. Bravery is how much you adore military exploits. So whether like it's taking down enemy commanders or having brilliant strategies to win battles, that's bravery. Whether you don't care about it or whether you really like it. Aptitude is how much you like people being able to do what they're supposed to do. Like they're just really good at doing what they can do. This is more for like civil officers, I believe. So like being really good at building farms, you would really like those people if you revere them. But if you're like the warrior dude, maybe you don't really care about someone being able to be really good at writing poetry, that sort of thing. Next, we're at preferences. There's gift giving in the game, and this is a big important part about making friendships for the player character and increasing like how much people like you. You have these three. Basically, it's like how much do you like those gifts and how much it's going to affect you. So armor, yes, no, that's for like weapons and armor. Tomes is for like books and scrolls and stuff. Treasure is for like kind of the miscellaneous stuff, so like horses and robes and like licorice and vases. And then alcohol is any booze. Alcohol is unique because it gets three levels. Whether you don't like alcohol at all, you are a social drinker, or you just really like to drink. You are a borderline alcoholic, if not alcoholic. Greed is how much any gift will affect you. So unwanted means it's not going to affect you much. Normal means if it's something you really like, it's going to affect you quite a bit. Otherwise, eh. And greedy, everything kind of affects you. The things you like really affect you. Then we go into stats. This is where how much you are, what you're gonna be good at. So I'm gonna give you a set limit of the amount of points you can have, since you can really just max them all out if you really want to. But we're gonna stick with 240 points to spend. The highest you can go is 100. The lowest you can go is 1. If you spread it out evenly, it's 60 in all. So, I should go over what each one is good for. So leadership is your primary stat for fighting. It determines your unit's strength and defense, and it's your primary fighting thing. Warrior, I think, affects a little bit of your unit strength, but it's more so your personal ability to fight. So this is your main thing for determining your effectiveness in the duel minigame, which can happen in battle. It'll just kind of randomly happen. And it affects your ability to do patrols to increase the fidelity of your cities. Leadership allows you to do better training to up the proficiency of the types of troops in the cities. Intelligence, there used to be a charisma score, but they got rid of that and kind of put it into intelligence, since both of those skills didn't have a whole lot that they did compared to the other ones, so they just kind of melded together. So intelligence, its primary thing is there's a debate minigame. It's a lot like the warrior, except it's for intellectual things. It's a big thing of the for making like alliances, and it also is the primary stat used for when you're trying to hire people, and should be one more thing. And placating villages, which is kind of important. Governance is how well you're able to build up a city. It's basically for farming, commerce, and culture of the city. Your governance determines how well you're good at doing those type of missions. Pretty much, other than that, it has no purpose. So then, troop type. There's 3 different types of troop units that you can command. You have the spear, the horse, and the bow. This is how well you will be good at it. You get I'm going to let you have an A, B, and a D. So you get to choose where those goes. So you'll be really good at something, you'll be pretty good at something, and then you're not going to be good at another thing. Usually there was like a rock, paper, scissors thing that went on. Not so much anymore. Horsemen have like the highest attack and mobility, but they have lower defense. Spearmen are good all around, and bowmen can have low defense, but they can attack from range. I should note that the battles are like real time, unlike the previous things where it was like turn-based. So it can be pretty important. Then we have ability. This is the start of really kind of determining your your specialties. So you're going to get 53 points to put into these skills, these abilities. You got 2 pages of them, so it may seem like a lot, but it's going to go by fast. They go up to 9, or it can be at 0. There is ways in-game to increase this over time, but it's difficult, so it's really up to you whether you want to do maybe 8 and hope that it gets pushed up to 9, or just go straight for 9 to be the best at it. To give you an idea of what they do, I'm going to click this button and just read it out. So commerce, farming, and culture are all kind of the same. It just makes it so you're better at doing those missions. So like increasing the commerce of the city, increasing the farming, increasing the culture, you'll just be really good at doing those things. You'll be able to increase it much faster and efficiently than other officers. Training and patrol are the same thing, except for their respective missions. Coax is interesting. It gives you an extra option when you're doing the placate mission for villages, in which you basically can force a debate rather than just kind of doing it over time. Then negotiate. This increase initial negotiation progress. There's kind of like a percentage. Having a high negotiate means they are more likely to be able to get an alliance with another force, since you'll already have progress into it. Basically, you have to like convince all the rulers, people around him, that an alliance is a good idea, and then you bring it up to the ruler, and with all these people supporting you. Orator, this means you're much better at debates. So even if you both have the same intelligence score, you having a higher like orator thing means you'll just wreck them. Virtue is what's used for the employment missions. You'll just be better at convincing people to join your side. Overall, you have a troop count. That's your unit. That's kind of like your health. It determines how strong your unit is. It determines how much damage you can take. Overall, you have a limit to how many troops you can bring into battle, and that's based on your rank. It goes on as you do stuff. It goes up as you do stuff. Overall means you can just have more than you should. You can have more troops in your unit than you should. It can be useful if you're doing a warrior build. Speed means you're just faster. I think this is both in battle and on the over map when your unit is traveling to the battle, because you have travel times. You have to take into account how long it takes for your guys to get to the actual battle. Arouse is kind of like when you're in battle and your troop count gets to a certain point, you'll kind of like rally your guys so that you get back to your original strength, kind of thing. And this is how effective you will be at doing that. Endurance. Morale is a big thing in the battles. Every unit has their own like morale bar. Having this means when you defeat an enemy unit, you'll gain back. You'll get some morale from it. It can be useful. Siege, you increase damage to gates, outposts, and siege weapons. This is good if for quickly taking down the outposts mostly, as the gates I will be using more so siege weapons, though having a bunch of people wail on a gate could be useful as well. Weapons, this is for the siege weapons. Durability is their health, and ballista become Chuko no. I'm not entirely sure what that is. I think that's just like a rapid fire ballista, if I remember correctly. I don't quite remember. Increasing the further levels just increases how much health the siege weapons that you deploy will have. Every unit can have one siege weapon assigned to them. Defense, if you're in a defense battle, so like an enemy force is trying to take a city and you're defending that city, having a high defense means you will increase the amount of health that the camps and castle walls have. It can be useful. I don't know if you have to be the leader of the like the commander of the battle, or if it's just you exist, therefore it gets more health. I don't know. I think you have to be the commanding officer for this to apply. Naval, there's water battles. Normally, without any naval skill, you have to actually chain your boat to another unit to not lose morale and be affected by water currents. But this decreases both units' mobility and kind of makes it difficult to maneuver your ships. So with a single point in naval, you'll eliminate that. Increasing it makes you better in attacking other units on naval battles. However, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of naval battles happening. I might just try to avoid them because they're odd, and I'm more used to doing land battles, so it might be useful. Maybe just 1 point if you're going for a warrior build. Dueling, like Orator, for the dueling minigame, having high ability in dueling just makes you much better at doing that minigame. Dueling is actually kind of really important in battle, because if it happens and you win the duel, you do a massive morale penalty to the entire enemy army. It's pretty nice, and you can like outright kill enemy officers. Heroism, I'm not exactly sure what strike is. I think it's like critical hits, and same class would be like you have, as your proficiency goes up, you can have different classes of spears. So it starts off with light spear, then goes to heavy spear, and then elite spear. And then there's like certain special units that you can get in certain cities. Strategy, evade. You can basically just go, nope, your attack didn't hit. Increasing that means it happens more often. So that's it. Like I said, up to 9, lowest is 0. You have 53 points to spend. I probably should have told you to pull out a pen and paper for this, because you're probably gonna need it. Forte. Again, we're going back to those abilities. This is the skill that you're best at. It doesn't affect you too much at all, but when you become friends with someone, the person that you become friends with, they will gain a rank in that ability, and you will gain a rank in their forte. That's kind of how you increase your ability. I will be making lots of people, lots of friends, because that's a thing you can do in the Fame and Strategy expansion. You can just basically have people write letters to each other and force friendships, so that's fun. So maybe that's important to you. Strategy. When you're in battle, your unit will have a strategy that you can do. It will affect either yourself, or maybe your allies, or maybe it affects the enemy. Control is a resource in the battle. It goes up slowly over time. Max is 10. This is how much control it uses to use that ability. note the like 5+ is not going to happen too often. So just like be aware that just because it looks better doesn't mean it's always going to be able to go off. So we have so the pluses, you'll have like multiple pluses, multiple minuses. That means it's that more effective. So like +1, just 1 plus means it gives you a slight boost. +3 pluses means it gives you a massive boost. So a lot of these are like unique ones, like Thousand Slayer and War God and Little Dictator. They're unique ones for particular officers, but you can take them if you want. I'm just gonna kind of scroll through these slowly, so you can kind of see them. There's quite a few. There's a few that I want to point out. Like this one, it only works if you have a bow unit, obviously. And the attack in all directions kind of means you can just attack any other enemy unit within your range. And normally you can only attack one unit at a time. AoE is the same thing, but it's for like spearmen and horse where they're melee. You'll just attack anyone that you can. There's a combo means you like do a little bit less damage, but you do it a lot faster. So you attack like twice as fast, but it's a little bit less damage. Preserve morale means you certain things that would normally lower your morale just won't while this is effective. I'm not sure what desperation is. I think it might be like higher attack, lower defense. It's a state. Yeah, so here you see what actually combo does. These ones, you can see they only affect that type of unit, so if you take it, you're probably going to have your A in that particular unit type. As you can see, these only have 2 controls, so these could be used often, but you really don't get much for them. Where it says own, that means it only affects your unit. If it says ally, it affects like everyone within a certain range that's friendly. This gets rid of adverse effects like panic and misinformation, which we'll get to later. Panic is basically what happens when you run out of morale. It's a very bad thing. So like this one, this is interesting. It affects all allies, but any enemies that are also caught in the range will get that effect. I like the music in this game. It's nice. We're gonna just keep going. As I said, there's quite a few of them. Some of them are kind of samey though. Heal troops. How this works is when you take damage, it actually goes into like 2 categories. You can have wounded troops, and then you can have just straight up killed troops. So this will like a certain amount of your wounded troops of your unit will come back. If they're dead, they will not come back. Diversion and misinformation, I think, are kind of the same, except diversion is to the nearest outpost / camp, while misinformation is always to the main camp. So basically, you use this on the enemy. Actually, I have no idea what diversion does. This is weird since it affects your own. Looks like you lose some of your troops, and maybe you get to teleport. That might be it. You might be able to teleport with that. That's interesting. It's probably only to friendly camps, though. Misinformation, basically you affect a unit. There's a chance that it might not work. I think it depends on the enemy unit's intelligence, whether it how well it will affect them. And it will cause them to flee back to their main camp. It can be useful for like defense battles in which they're like trying to scale the walls, and then you use it on them and they run away from the walls, letting you to shoot them with arrows. Seal strikes, I think means they just can't do strikes. Taunt means the affected enemy units will go out of their way to try to attack your unit. So can be useful for battlefield control, but not entirely sure how often I would do it. Misinformation and taunt are kind of like situational things. There you go. There's the actual definition of misinformation. And the definition of taunt. The fire techniques. This affects an area, and will there's actually like wind, and it will like spread based on the wind direction and strength. You can also use it in naval battles, and it will cause the any unit, allies included, that are caught in the fire will lose troops over time, and even if they exit the fire, they will still lose a few troops over time because of the burn status. If you have one of those other tactics that remove statuses, it will remove the burn effect as well. I don't think it removes the actual fire though, so that's to keep in mind. There's lots of different burning steer. I think that's a strategy. I heard about it before. I do not know who used it first or how many times it was used, but it's really silly. Basically, someone took a herd of cows, set them on fire, and sent them stampeding into the enemy camp. Hilarious. Got all these different fire types in there. They have different control levels. You can see fire is pretty powerful, so it has high control. And then it has different things. So like lowering the mobility means it's harder for them to leave the flames, so you do more damage. That's pretty nice. And your very basic burn. think these are ones for from the barbarians. So like these are the different barbarian tribes. And they're in different locations. So I think the Shangyu were in the northwest and the Naman were in the southwest. I don't remember where these guys were. And that's all of them. I am missing. I'm surprised I missed it. Where is it? Ah, the charges. So charge. When you use the ability, it will. There will be an arrow that appears, and your unit, and in this case any other affected units, will just kind of like run in that direction. I will not be able to control them, and they will move through enemy units, doing damage of quite a considerable amount of damage over time until the charge ends. There's some really silly tactics you can use with the charge, especially the ones that affect a large group. You can group all your guys together and just charge the entire enemy. I do so much damage. It's ridiculous. I've turned the tide of battles in which I was greatly outnumbered because of those skills. So maybe a few of you, hint hint, nudge nudge, have some charge abilities. Quite nice. Not all of you though. Just a few of you. Expertise. You can be a minister underneath either a city governor or the ruler governor. There's 3 different ministers: the war minister, the domestic minister, and the military minister. War ministers require a high amount of intelligence. Domestic ministers require a high amount of governance, and military requires a high leadership. This basically allows, if I'm a governor or a ruler, it allows me to have a few more kind of orders to give out missions for the officers, so they're actually doing things instead of just standing around. Expertise, though, if you get assigned as a minister, you will give this benefit to either the city or the whole force, depending on whether you're the minister of a governor or the ruler, respectively. So it would affect either the officers and army units that come out of the city, or the whole force. This is interesting. I'm not sure exactly what it means. I think it considers everyone rank 1, which is the highest rank you can go, to determine how many troops they can take into battle. So no matter if you're at the lowest rank or the highest rank, you'll be able to take the max amount of troops. It could be very useful, actually. This one's nice too, since there is a loyalty stat, and that determines how likely you'll go to another force. So this means that you'll just passively gain more loyalty. It can be nice. I wouldn't suggest this. It seems kind of hard to do. And I will probably not be able to do it. So probably don't choose that one. I'm just gonna kind of scroll through all these, note what kind of minister and what your stats are gonna be. There's travel time. You can like disperse your army wherever you want, but then there'll be like a period of time before they get back to their city to make a new army. This will lower that. So there you go. There's your expertise. And then we have, this is added to the expansion, your prestige. This really gives you a definition of what you're going to be good at. There is a lot of them, and there's a lot that goes into them. I would like to be able to go through, but it will take me a really long time. So if you know what this is, go ahead and choose what you want. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of ask that you just kind of give me what you want your character to kind of do. Do you want them to be a leader of armies? Do you want them to be a really good warrior? Do you want them to be like really good at hiring people, or just being really good at like making the city better? That sort of thing. More in depth, no patriots, because that's only for free officers. Same with merchants. Military officers for your like super warrior dudes. Like it's all about them being better in duels and their personal units being stronger. There's kind of requirements to get them. The level is like, there's trees, so it starts with fighter here, and it goes on. The level is how far along the tree it is. I'm guessing your ideal prestige is the AI will attempt to make it so that you get to that prestige. So yep, you got your warriors. Then you have your civil servants. These are the guys that are really good at just like kind of managing the cities. Bureaucrat's kind of fun because you can steal wealth from the cities to increase your own wealth. So, yep, just kind of let me know what you want to be. Diplomat and ambassador makes you really good at doing diplomacy missions with other forces. Commander is, you get to kind of you get to make your own army of private troops and lead them into battle. I don't know how much it's gonna affect AI, but I know as like the player character, you can have some fun with private troops. So if you want to be really good at like leading troops into battle, you might want to choose the commander route. So I'll go through these. Again, if you don't know exactly what you do, let me know what you want your character to do, and then I'll kind of balance that with what you chose as your abilities and stats to determine what your prestige is going to be, if you don't really care. So you have your commander. Your advisor is like your strategist. Like there's strategies that you can apply in battle before the battle starts. These make it so that you're like really good at this. It also makes you, this route also has a route which you're really good at hiring people. I think that's like the celebrity. Yeah, celebrity route. You get really good at hiring people. Merchant is one that you can only do as a free officer, so I wouldn't suggest choosing that. And then we get into all the unique ones. These are, they replace one of the other prestiges, and it's specific for a particular officer. I guess if you really want to choose one, you can. I'm probably just going to ignore these. This is Guan Yu and this is Shake Fei, by the way. I believe this is Shonin, and this is Zhuge Liang, of course. This is Ma Chao. And this is Sun Ce, of course. Because that was his title. I believe this is Diao Chao. And there you go. That's the prestiges. We also have we have the family tab now. So you got your grading. This is how likely you will suddenly get sick and die. A being the best, D being the lowest. I don't really care what you want. Life is when you're going to be born and how long your lifespan is. Max is 100 years, lowest is 30. Again, I don't really care. You can live forever. These are the scenario starts. So 170, the default, means you'll be born before the first scenario, and with 100 years you'll die probably by the end of the... It'll be unlikely that you'll die before the series is over, unless we start in the final scenario. But even then, I don't know how long it would take to do. So if you want to be born like somewhere in the middle, you could increase the birth year. By default, it's just going to be 170 with 100 lifespan. Family, we're pretty much not gonna worry about this, except for Affinity. If you have a particular like Dynasty Warrior character, I guess, that you really like, and you want to be like your role model, let me know, and I'll set your affinity to that person. Yeah, there's a lot of officers, as you can see. These are all the actual in-game officers. There's quite a few of them. And it's pretty ridiculous. They all have different stats, as you can see. So yeah, give me affinity if you know what officer you want to have a role model. Otherwise, just don't worry about it. Bio, we're not going to worry about the bio. You can have it personally, and we'll run with it. I'm not going to type out everyone's bio. That's just going to take too long. So there you go. Recap. Choose 3 faces. 240 for your stats. 1 is the lowest, 100 is the highest. A, B, and D for troop type. 53 ability points. Highest is 9, lowest is 0. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all in this Call of Arms. Let us take China together. Oh, I need I'm forgetting something. So I have 2 ideas of how to do this Let's Play. I'm going to be playing my own character. I'm going to either choose to do the Yellow Turban Rebellion and be Yellow Turban and just kind of roll with it. If the Yellow Turbans get defeated, I'll just go with whatever force I get captured by and roll from there. Try to get them to conquer China. Or I might choose, like, thinking, Rise of the Little Conqueror, and make my own force, and maybe have all of you underneath me. Of course, if you want to be under a certain other ruler, go ahead and let me know, and I'll put you there. Otherwise, if I do the Yellow Turban Rebellion, you're going to be randomly placed in a random location, unless otherwise stated. And if we do the Rise of the Little Conqueror, I will make my own force, and everyone will be underneath me. I might make several forces, in which you'll be my neighbors, and I'll try to quickly conquer you. Depending on how many people actually submit. So that's it. I will see you some other time when we actually get the thing started. So thank you very much, and goodbye.